just a... Oh, sorry. I'm just a Broadway baby.
On the 26th of May 2024, Rob Madge should have been on Broadway.
Broadway baby.
The smash hit autobiographical show My Sons Are Queer, But What Can You Do should have been nearing its final few weeks of performance on the Great White Way.
Broadway baby.
It should have been a fitting crown atop a dazzling show that has grown from its TikTok origins to the Edinburgh Festival to a West End hit.
Broadway baby.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
It's the 27th of February 2024 and it's the big day. It's opening night and Rob's Broadway debut.
Turn up, light the lights.
2 weeks ago, Rob received a phone call saying that this Broadway debut has actually been postponed.
When Rob announced that Broadway was going on hold, it hurt. With a show this personal, the hurt felt even deeper. And not just for Rob, the creatives and the production team involved, but also it hurt for the thousands of people who had seen themselves reflected in Rob's home movies. Heard their own conversations echoed in Rob's words. So, on the 26th of May 2024, these people gathered in the Garrick Theatre in London's West End, home of the first West End run of My Sons Are Queer, for what could have been much needed catharsis. The show, Rob Madge's Regards to Broadway, was introduced as a very personal therapy session. It was therapy that had the required effect, not just for Rob, but for every emotionally invested fan in the room. Rob Madge's Regards to Broadway was a one-off. Well, two if you count the matinee and evening show separately. For the story, the context and timing are integral, which means if you missed it, you've missed it. And so while this review can't sell tickets, it can record Rob's growth as not just a performer, but a writer. Rob is a natural at being on.
Got interrupted by my mum. Big Linda, what's the most swankified place in town? Sounds perfect! Go away, Mum!
Yell tits and teeth, and they're likely to fling out jazz hands, Pavlov dogs style.
Both hands. And pat. Double dream hands. And
Cut Rob and you will see blood. Brothers. Please don't cut Rob. But Rob has not just a stage presence, but a stage warmth. The story is, of course, tightly scripted with requisite emotional arcs, but it is told with an emotional intimacy. This could be your best friend, or the person you wish was your best friend, just sipping a white wine spritzer and being their usual funny self.
Anything is possible when the stage is your living room. Anything is possible with umbrellas, a suitcase and a broom.
If you know Rob's musical theatre background, you may be surprised to hear that Regards to Broadway has less big musical numbers than My Sons Are Queer. There is music more often as underscore, played here by Pippa Cleary, in an onstage role where she plays the cordially undermined Patsy. There are also a few West End pastiches that give ample opportunity To add to the show reel and demonstrate breath capacity and range. But here the real musicality is in the scripting. It often feels as though things have just popped to mind, interrupting the story's flow as they're shared. This ability to land a laugh on a throwaway line is reminiscent of the comedy stylings of Victoria Wood, an inspiration acknowledged early on by Madge.
Sorry, can I just... Well, just do a little... Would you mind, Nancy, if you... Can I just... Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, that is kind of you, sir. I saw you coming along the street with your little fur hat on. I thought I wouldn't bother with him, Deirdre. He looks quite a twit and a half.
At one point, the comparison is explicit, with a towel tucked over the trouser belt. There's a pause, an upward glance, a beat, and 2 words.
2 soups.
The audience is in hysterics. If you know, you'll know. And Madge certainly knows this audience. As a scriptwriter, Madge shares Wood's instinct for the mut juste. Every word carefully chosen, fine-tuned and then rhythmically placed to deliver the biggest laugh. Few writers can constantly land the funny words that are funny for no discernible reason. It's like knowing that Cheadle is funny. Manchester isn't. That Anorak is funnier than Raincoat, but not quite as funny as Pacamac. Being able to consistently choose the right word is a skill that can't be taught. It is the gold of observational comedy, and Rob may well be one of its alchemists. The themes of My Sons Are Queer and the theatrical experience behind this story have led to, naturally, a fan base high in empathy. As such, it's unsurprising that many of the stories and jokes shared in Rob Madge's Regards to Broadway are more niche than mainstream. References to the ins and outs of the everyday life of a working theatre performer are plenty. Emotions experienced by queer and gender-questioning children come often. It may mean that some jokes go over your head, but the warmth of the audience around you will no doubt carry you along with it anyway. Rob has been cast as sort of spokesperson for their audience and delivers accordingly. I should say that if they don't already, the fervour of this fandom demands they have a collective noun. I'm going to put forward an idea of the Madrigal.
I'm Mrs. Madrigal, as in medieval.
I like the Olmsted Maupin feel of it.
You'll get used to my babbling. They all do.
I'll just leave it out there.
You're one of us then. Thank you. Yes, you should.
Anyway, in my review of My Sons Are Queer, I suggested that such specificity will naturally limit reach, and I got called out on this by a few madrigals. I'm trying.
Come on.
The argument being that it's important enough just to have a voice, just to be there. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. I'm not suggesting for a moment that Rob should be straightwashed or even queer quietened. Even more so with Rob Madge's Regards to Broadway, where Rob delivers fully to these expectations. I simply mean that Rob should be allowed to be more than just a megaphone. I wouldn't pretend to know Rob's ambitions. I do know when a performer has something that makes them more than just a jobbing
actress who scraped to put herself through the RADA.
Copyright Victoria Wood. And Rob has that something in shiny, sparkly bucket loads.
To the show, don't leave too late, for soon they will grow. Think of the magic that you can create.
It's clear that My Son's a Queer is no longer just Rob's story. The thousands of people who the show has touched so intimately now share ownership. That's something Madge should be very, very proud of. Though Rob Madge Regards to Broadway is unlikely to be staged again, you will be able to catch the show at the centre of this story when My Son's a Queer goes on a UK tour this year, or when it returns to Edinburgh in August. But it's good to see Rob is also moving on, as must be done.
Hello? My Son's a Queer? No, I don't think about it anymore, I've moved on.
A recurrent headline role in the Palladium Panto from 2022's Pat the Cow to Tink last year, and the upcoming Spirit of Sherwood in Robin Hood means Rob has been seen by over 250,000 mainstream eyes, and that's got to be good. In September, Rob will also be performing in Buyer and Seller at the King's Head in Islington. It is another one-person show, but this time it's fictional.
Barbara has a lot of stuff. Who doesn't? But Barbara didn't want some run-of-the-mill basement to keep it all in. No, Barbara doesn't like run-of-the-mill anything, although she does in fact run a mill.
There's clearly more to Rob than being able to hit a high note or land a laugh. There's the ability to make everyone in the room feel special by feeling heard. There was so much love in the audience on Sunday that it was clear they hadn't just come to see a show, they'd come to catch up with a friend. They waited at the stage door not just for an autograph, but for a metaphorical hug. Being part of something this magical is rare. Great things can be done with great magic. And I, for one, can't wait to see the impact this great magic will have.